right, everybody, welcome to another marketing strategy session. And today I have Kat, the course builder, with me, and we're going to talk about courses. We're going to tell you how you can be a millionaire, get rich overnight, move out your mama's basement, and, be the next big thing. Kat, thanks for coming on the show with me.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here, Jeff.
Cool. You have such an interesting story. And, I love this topic. I love it because there's so many people out there that want to get into information marketing. They want to build a brand and authority. They get all of this advice and opinions from all these other people, but I want them to learn from somebody that's actually doing it, done it at a big level on not only a consumer side, but also a corporate side. So educated, inspirational, and really just in the trenches. Somebody's really doing it. So thanks for coming on. Let's talk about your story. It's so interesting.
Yeah, so hey, back in the day, I got started back in 2015, and it wasn't to start a business. I wasn't even trying to start a business. My best girlfriend said, "Hey, Kat, have you ever heard of Periscope?" And I say, "Isn't that the thing to stick out the submarine, the thing to look around?" And she said, "No, girl, that's the thing that everybody's on. Everybody's on Periscope watching." I said, "Oh, well, count me out, time out." Because, like I say, I'm a real Gen Xer. I'm a lights come on before the street lights, be home for the street lights come on type of Gen Xer. I was riding my skateboard, riding my bike.
They don't need to know your business.
That's right. I wasn't in it. I was like, "No, count me out. And then, one day I couldn't even look, Jeff, I couldn't even get it on my phone because that's how old my phone was at the time. The Periscope wouldn't even download to my phone. So I said, "Listen, I can't get on Periscope." But one day I dropped my phone in the kitchen. It dropped into about 6 pieces, and I was forced to get a new phone. And that is how I ended up getting Periscope. We got on Periscope, and the rest is kind of history. People asked us one day what we do for a living. And I said, "Well, I build courses. I'm an instructional designer." Next thing I know, people were flooding my inbox. And what I didn't know at the time, Jeff, that was called sliding up in the DM. I didn't know. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know a landing page from an opt-in page back in 2015. All I knew was building courses for corporations and big businesses. I did not really understand that there was even a consumer market out there back then.
They definitely kept you from knowing that too, because then they would be like, "Well, she gonna find out that there's money in this, and she gonna quit this job." So we gonna keep her in the dark.
What you say? I had no idea, but you know what? That's like a lot of people out there who are probably listening. They have no idea that what they do is going to set them free. It's going to be that thing that that makes them more money than they could have ever made in corporate.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know they were like, once you start getting a little bit of popularity, all of a sudden, in corporate America, see, it was funny, like you say, Gen Xers, we were taught that you don't supposed to be on your phone, you don't supposed to be on social, these new Gen Zs and millennials, they come to work on their phone. They're on their phone all day. We were like, we can't answer the phone. I know it's the kids calling, but we can't answer the phone. They're gonna get mad, We're gonna lose this good job.
We're gonna lose this good government job. Listen, that was me. I just didn't get it, Jeff. I did not get how people were making money from a phone. I thought it was all hocus pocus, a big scam, and what got me interested in it is the fact that I saw people on social media, on Periscope, especially, giving people all kind of bad advice about building courses. They didn't even know what they were talking about. And I was like, this is crazy. So that's the thing that lit a fire under me to say, let me help some people. So I didn't go on to start a business. I didn't go on to make money. I didn't even know how to make money with it. I just went on because I was mad because people was giving course building a bad name and they were saying all kind of stupid stuff. So that's why I got on. I got on just to be a spoiler.
Look, a hater. So basically,
a real hater.
they were up there doing WikiHow, and they were like, let me give you the 5 steps of making, you know, $1 million. And you were like, wait a minute, that's just WikiHow. That's not even
right.
practical.
I was like, I was like, they're not really true to this. They're not really telling people the real about this thing. So yeah, I just couldn't take it.
Yeah. So what's the difference between, like, you know, you got those that say overnight you can become this mega success with your course. You just record a YouTube video, you know, chop it up. I mean, what's the difference between that and actually building out a course and actually planning out how your course is going to be?
Yeah, so the big difference is that your course should actually teach somebody something, okay? Okay. It should actually teach somebody something and help them get from their point A to their point B. And I say, listen, I am a real instructional designer. I don't play one on TV. I got a whole master's degree in this subject. And if it was as easy as cutting up a YouTube video, I could have saved myself a few, you know, tens of thousands of dollars getting a whole degree in it, right? So there is a methodology to teaching, especially teaching adults who are busy and that sort of thing. And how do you do it? Because the marketplace is very competitive now, even from, you know, 2015 to now is like light years ahead. And, you know, people have been taking courses on their job and through university. So you can't put the okie doke on people, you know, with these YouTube videos. They're going to be like, really? You know, this ain't, and you want how much for these many? No, I don't think so, ma'am. I don't think so, sir. So you really have to come correct these days.
Now with that, like, for instance, you know how to organize and you know how to get from point A to point B. Is it more about, like, there's a strategy of less is more, then there's a strategy of overwhelm them, give them all this stuff. Some people say do little short 5-minute lessons. Others say no, give them hour-long lessons. How do you figure out what's the best approach, or is it just different for everybody?
Yeah, so one is a sales approach.
Okay.
And one is a teaching approach. Okay.
Okay.
So the sales approach is overwhelm them to where they're so frustrated that they feel like they need you. And so they're willing to, you know, pay whatever it is for you to stop torturing them, basically. And right. And but the thing is that people do it wrong. Like, even if, let's just say, okay, that's your guru told you to do that. Okay. My guru better than your guru. You know, my guru told me.
Now you're going back. Now we're telling our age, because now we're going back to the Chinese films on Saturday morning where you got your sensei and I got my sensei.
That's right. My guru better than your guru, you know. And so if your guru told you, okay, you ain't got to call no names. I say, listen, I don't call names. I call games. Okay. But if your guru told you to do the game of overwhelm people, the fact is that you're not even doing it right? So if you're going to give them a little bit more information, it's not that you should be overwhelming them in the first place. You just want to give them enough to understand your process and that sort of thing. And that in itself might overwhelm people. It's not that you set out to overwhelm people, okay?
Okay.
But by nature, people get a little overwhelmed, all right? So I say this, Jeff. I do a little experiment, okay? And I'm going to do this with you and your audience. Take your right hand and turn it and face it towards you. All right, where it's palm facing you. Okay. Now I want you to look at all 5 fingers and your palm. That represents everything that you know about your topic. Okay.
Okay.
Now I want you to slide on over to your pinky finger. Okay. Now, if you look at your pinky finger, you'll notice that it's divided into 3 sections. Okay. Unless you're from the planet Vulcan or something like that, you got 3 sections on your pinky finger. Now, look at the very tip of your pinky finger.
Okay.
That right there represents about how much of what you know you're going to actually put out there on social media for people to consume.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because all your knowledge is not what's going to give people the transformation that they need in their life. Okay. And so what happens is we end up giving them the whole 5-finger job. Okay. We give them the whole 5 fingers.
Not the, what did the 5 fingers say to the face?
Yes. That you give them the whole 5-finger discount, and they are overwhelmed. They don't care about all of these books I got in here about learning methodology and all. They could care less. What they care about is how you're going to get them from their point A to their point B faster, easier, and with less frustration. So that goes back to the idea of chunking the information. So that's the other idea that you brought up, okay, about the 5 to 7 minute segments. Now, it is true that those micro learning opportunities are great for busy adults. They want practical, they want it now. They don't want to have to go through an hour-long video to get what they want. They don't want to have to take notes for days on end. They do want it in chunks. Okay, so that is how you're going to, what you're going to put in your signature program or your course, the one that you're going to actually sell to them. You want it to be in bite-size, what I like to call snackable pieces that people can consume, understand, apply, and then move on to the next subject. And what that does for you, okay, is that allows you to actually teach them, and for them to actually feel like they learned from you instead of being fire hosed from you. Because here's the thing, if you want to be lazy and just give them a Zoom video that you did, because I hear that gurus are saying, just do a Zoom video, just do it live and put your 3-hour Zoom video in the course and then sell that, right?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that. What's going to happen is that your learners are going to get discouraged. They are going to get tired of it, and they're not going to want to take the time to get through your 3-hour Zoom meeting. Okay, maybe the answer is buried in there somewhere, but who got time to try to find it? Okay, especially for the price point. So that is what I consider the very lazy way to do it. Okay, and if you don't know how to chunk your information in a way that people are actually going to learn from it, then get with somebody who knows, who can help you. A real instructional designer, not one that plays one on TV.
I heard that. I mean, and really, at the end of the day, especially for most of us that are putting out information like that, it's about the results. So if your clients aren't getting results, it doesn't matter how much you know, because everybody wants to be that smart person in the room. I'm the smartest person in the room. Let me show you. But at the end of the day, if they're not getting results, it doesn't really matter.
Well, I'm going to throw one else at you, Jeff. What about not just the smartest person in the room? I'm the richest person in the room.
Oh, okay? I love that one.
I'm the one that's making all the money. But what about the people who are actually taking your courses, who are in your programs, who are, hiring you to do these things? How they coming out? How they
I love that, because here's the one thing, and I'm getting with you on the hater, because I mean, you hear these people stacking this money on tables, talking about how rich they are. Let me show you my private plane, so forth and so on. But at the end of the day, especially if you're doing something to help somebody else transition, transform into something else, it's like, okay, so you have 100,000 followers, 1 million followers on Facebook, but this person has 0. And now you're trying to get them to get like you. You may have 100,000 followers just because you know a certain celebrity that shouted you out.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the real secret, but you're not telling people that's the secret.
Absolutely.
Or the one we've all heard before. My dad gave me a measly little $1 million, and I had to make do with that. Okay. But most of us, our family combined, wouldn't give us $1 million.
That's right. I don't have no rich uncle. When I started literally at 0. I had 0 followers. I had one little heart on Periscope. One little heart. You know how you get the little hearts? I had one little heart, and I had 0 followers. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's how I started anyway.
Yeah.
And but there is a way to grow your business authentically. And I was fortunate enough to honestly not know enough to know that you could scam the system. I didn't know the system enough to scam it. I mean, to be honest with you, okay? I really didn't. I didn't know. And so all I knew was get on there, tell the truth as you see it, help people, and see how that feels to you. See if that, see if that is something that is congruent with who you want to be and who you are,
Yeah. Well, how do you work with or what advice would you give people as far as their approach or their voice? Because you've got introverts, you got extroverts, and they're going to approach it totally different. You got people that are quote unquote alpha. You got other people that are delta. So how do you deal with that when building a course? Because most people, they get a mentor and the mentor kind of says, sound like me. And you can tell who their mentor is because they sound just like them. So you're like, okay, that they must have taken this person's course because they sound just like them.
Yeah. So that comes with, I think, maturity in business. Just giving yourself an opportunity to find your own voice. There's nothing wrong with having mentors. There's nothing wrong with learning from other people. But then at some point, you got to stand on your own 2 feet and get out there and turn on the camera and let it just be you. Okay. And the thing about it is that people understand authenticity. They just sense it. They just got a, feeling about it. And people have a feeling about just the opposite. And so, instead of, drinking other people's Kool-Aid all day long, get in that kitchen and start making your own formula. Figure out how many cups of sugar you want to throw in there and how many different lemonade and grape, and mix it together and see what your own flavor is. Okay. And you just might be surprised. People will like it. Whether you are an introvert, extrovert, what's most important in terms of putting your own voice out there is knowing what the hell you're talking about. And if you do, then people are going to tune in. People are going to say, oh, wait a minute, whether this person is polka dot, whether they're, this or that, if you believe it, if you have confidence in what you are saying, people will listen to you. But what happens, I find, Jeff, is that it's not so much a voice issue. It's a confidence issue. It's a will they like me issue.
Wow.
And me, I don't really care like that. I mean, and to a certain degree, to have your own voice, you can't care like that. Like, I care a little bit, but if my wig is crooked when I get on, I'd be like, my wig is crooked, y'all. And my lashes are falling off, like this one right here. This one ain't even on right. Like, I don't mind telling people, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? My lipstick ain't all right. But that's because at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. What matters is I can help you put this course together faster, easier, and with less frustration. So I need you to get past my lashes, my wig, all of that stuff, and let's get down to work. Let's get down to business.
And that makes sense. That's what really counts, because at the end of the day, when you're paying for somebody's services, all you care about is the results. I mean, all that other stuff makes you feel good. Oh, this person, look at them, they're a celebrity or whatever. But at the end of the day, you'll just be broke financing a celebrity.
Look, let me tell you something. Even in my business. So if you come on as a client in my business, we're going to send you out all kind of cards. We're going to send you water bottles that say Cat the Course Builder. We're going to do all this stuff, but it's all cute and everything. But at the end of the day, all right, they're looking for quantitative changes that they can look to in their business to say, I was this way before I paid you 5 digits, and now it's this way, and I've made my money back plus some. Okay. So, that's all well and fine, but at the end of the day, we have to deliver. Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Yeah. Now, do you recommend a lot of people have a lot of I guess you would say, tangible assets such as worksheets and books and all that, or it's more of just audio visual and you could get by with that?
So what I say is, this is what I say. Don't be a lazy teacher, okay? So don't just throw stuff at people. If they can get it, what you're teaching them, without it, fine. However, if they need practice, if they need an opportunity to work through some things, then give them the opportunity to work through it, okay? So if they need worksheets, make sure that you provide it for them. Don't give them busy work just so you can add another 50 cents onto the price, okay? Make sure it's not busy. Make sure it's actually going to help them work through the ideas, think through and apply what you're teaching them, okay? So so if you need it, fine. But most people need those worksheets to help them work through if it's complex. If the what the technical term for it is a cognitive load. If the cognitive load is high, then that means that you're teaching them something difficult, or they can't be multitasking while you're trying to learn it from you. So for me, that would be something like calculus, okay? Like me, I couldn't do anything else, including blink, trying to figure that out, okay? So, so if that's the case, statistics. Make sure you give them some, statistics or something like that, accounting and all that stuff. Make sure that you have some worksheets to help them work through it. But if the course you have has a low cognitive load, where you're teaching them something like basket weaving, shout out to all the basket weavers out there. I know it can be complicated, but if you teach them like a 101 type course, then, okay, I'll give you another example, Oreo licking. You teach them how to lick Oreos, the cognitive load is very low, okay? Doesn't take much. Then you don't really need worksheets.
Do you twist to the left? I know, right? Or do you twist to the right when you got to take the Oreo apart?
It's debatable. It's very, very debatable. But depending on your audience, for your audience, it might be low, high. It could be, debated.
That's great advice, because a lot of times I think one of the challenges, especially when it comes to building out courses, is overthinking it. And so you're like, well, I got to put this course out, but I don't have this textbook, prepared. Or I've got to put this out. And then you hear the opinions of those like, you don't need anything. All you need is a cell phone or a camera and just start recording, And so you're like, well, maybe I just put that out. So, I think it's really good that you know how it's supposed to be structured. It is funny because people always say, well, why should I get a course? I mean, I can just look it on YouTube. And what I always tell them is this: that's very true. You are 100% correct. Why you go to college? You can YouTube that too. Everything they teach you in college, you can get off YouTube.
Sure can, all day.
Yep, and it costs so much less.
All of them. Well, the thing about it is, Google can tell you what to do. It can't tell you what to do for you, okay?
Yeah.
It's going to give you 89 billion answers, and hopefully you're choosing a course that will help you narrow in on what you need to know specifically. So, why is the course building industry an over $256 billion a year industry? Why is that? Is it because everybody's going to Google? No, because everybody that went to Google figured out what your Google listeners are going to find out, and that is, you're not going to get the answer for you on Google. So Forbes magazine says that 90% of all learning now is informal. So that means that they're not going to college and signing up for college by and large. They're going to people like you and me, Jeff. They're saying, listen, let me learn from Jeff. Let me learn from Kat. Let me get real world experience and really target in on what I need to know from people who know it, right? Yeah. And that's what people are doing.
And that's what I love. That even with this show, I love talking to people that are in the trenches actually doing it. versus
Absolutely.
somebody that went to college, or like you said, they played it on TV. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
it's somebody that has theory, and by
Oh yeah.
theory, this works. But I'm gonna tell you, everything I learned in college for marketing, it does not work in the real world. That's in a utopian
Oh
experience.
yeah. In a perfect world, it works out brilliantly.
Yeah, yeah. In the real world, it's like, yeah, that doesn't work. I'm gonna have to figure out
And it
something different.
changes.
Yeah,
That's the other thing, Jeff. It changes. The market changes. The market has changed, and the new disruptor has been the pandemic. That is a disruptor in business, and people are trying to like, whoa, adjust, to
yeah.
this sea change
Hmm.
that now where online business and teaching online and things like that, it used to be sort of optional, and that was for other people, that sort of thing, but get a few months of not being able to sell phone cards out your trunk for a while, you gonna start teaching online and putting what you know online.
Yeah,
Maybe for a month or two you could get away with it, but try 6 months, try 8, try 12, try 24. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And that changes things. It has changed the game. And those who were already down that road,
Hmm.
they were already ahead of the game. They beat everybody out. They were like, they were already ready.
Yeah,
Instead of trying to, oh Lord, let me figure out how to put my course online. Well, better
yeah. They
late than
already.
never. But
Yeah,
yeah, a lot of people was already ready, and they're the ones who cashed in during the pandemic. I mean, I have a little survivor's guilt myself. I'm like, because we did really well during the pandemic,
hmm,
and because so many people were like, they got a clue all of a sudden, and figured it
yeah,
out. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That necessity was there,
Oh yeah,
but
for sure.
and I love the fact that you say the market changed. I mean, that's another thing in course building. People have these evergreen courses
Yeah.
that work then, but the market's changed. And so, what
Yeah.
do you tell your clients and your students when it comes to thinking ahead, or for predicting the future?
Yeah.
Building your course with that in mind.
Yeah, so I love what you said about evergreen courses, right? And so when you're thinking ahead and staying on trend with your consumers, the best way to do that is not to get lazy. Like, I cannot stress that enough. So people say, "Oh, I got an evergreen course. Let me just let it run and make money for me." Then all of a sudden one day it's not making no money for you, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you are already staying in tune and in touch with your audience, if you still have opportunities to talk with them, to understand where their thinking is, then you can be on point with them. You can be in connection with them, and therefore it looks like you're ahead, but really you just never disconnected from what their needs are and how they were actually changing as a result of the changes in the marketplace. And if you have, like I always say, you got to have two things, Jeff. You have to have a natural competitiveness and a
Mm,
natural curiosity. Okay.
okay.
Curiosity and competitiveness will take you a long way. And when I say competitive, that doesn't mean elbowing somebody to get down to aisle 6. No, it means compete with yourself to say, you know what? I can do this. Let me see how much better I can be today than yesterday. And if you've got that in you, then you're ahead of a whole lot of other people. And a natural curiosity, especially through and that sort of thing. And I mentioned to you before, Jeff, that my first career was as a journalist.
Mhm.
And that has really served me well because I've always just had a natural, I'm just nosy, you know what I mean? Just nosy. Like tell me your business. Like, I'm not gonna tell you mine, but like tell me yours. Like, I want to know your business. Then I'm gonna tell everybody, right? You know what I mean? So I really love that part of it. And I still have that natural curiosity. So get curious about people and talk to people, communicate. In fact, I'm gonna make it 3 things: competitiveness, curiosity, and communication. Okay, don't nobody take that.
Okay.
You steal it. I know where you got it from. Okay.
I know the 3 C's. I'm about to package it and put it in the course. I'm gonna
And of
teach you the
course,
3
I know that's
C's.
right. The 3 C's. 3 C's of courses.
Exactly. And so, and then I guess the 4th C will be community, because in order to keep your hand on the pulse, you got to have a community that you can actually learn from. So,
and you got to have a community that wants to buy from you too. Can we say that?
Yeah.
Because some people got a community and they're not buying nothing. Okay, it's a community of crickets. How about that, C? Okay.
We know about
a community of crickets.
We know about that. I run across people all the time that have these business ideas, and they like, yo, it's gonna be, $1 million idea, $1 billion idea, blah blah blah. All my friends love it. Okay, well then put it out and put it like just a price on it. Put it on Facebook Marketplace, something. Just put a price on it and see how many friends buy it. Because I remember when I was in the music business, everybody thought, oh man, you're gonna be platinum. So one of the tests we used to do was like, go in your community, sell your CD for $1. See how many people buy it. And they would come back, couldn't buy lunch. I was like, all these friends, what happened? It's only $1. It changes when people have to actually support you. So
things change, but there are ways to bypass some of the natural barriers that people have to wanting to spend money and that sort of thing. And you just got to be willing to jump in there and do it, and not let the fear of rejection, because I think that's really what it comes down to, Jeff, for a lot of people. He's not gonna like me, that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that is a real fear for a lot of people, but I promise you, the day you don't give a crap is the day everything's going to change for you. Like, just come on and just be you, how you wake up in the morning. Come on with one lash on, one lash off. See what happens. No makeup. See what happens. Like, take your wig off right in the middle of the broadcast. I promise you, it's going to free you. It's going to free you once you realize that all of that stuff doesn't even really matter.
And that's so true. It's all in your head half the time. Half time you think it, but nobody else even thought about it. You created a problem. Yeah, created a problem for yourself. That's the thing that be killing me. That's a whole nother topic. People be acting like they celebrities. I know people talk about, well, I can't do this because they be all in my business. Don't nobody care. You act like people gonna stop what they doing and be like, oh my God, did you see her? Did you see what she did? Nobody's gonna care.
They're not. Look, I don't care if you get me in trouble. The same people that's talking about the people trying to track you through the vaccines, don't nobody care about your life. It's boring.
That's what I was saying.
It's boring.
Or the ones talking about, I can't be doing that. The government gonna be all in my business. But they work a job with a W-2. The government's already in your business.
Wait, and get rid of your phone and turn off your TV and sell your car, because all of that stuff is tracked. Okay, so I don't get it. But Jeff, a lot of times people use these excuses and they got everything to say besides, I'm just gonna put my nose to the grindstone and I'm gonna make this work. I'm going to do what I have to do to get it going and do what I have to do to understand. If people didn't buy, why didn't they buy? I mean, I'm quick to say if something didn't work. We put out a lot of stuff that didn't work. A lot of stuff. Like, I can't even tell you how many things I have done, Jeff, how many classes, workshops, all kind of stuff that we tried that didn't work, that didn't resonate with people over the years until we found the messaging that did work. And now we repeat it over and over and over and over and over again until you find your success formula. So you got to just be okay with I don't even want to call it failure, because it's really just learning if you change your mindset about it. That it's okay if people don't come to your party. Okay, the chips was stale, the soda was flat. Okay, the music was whack, and you didn't promote it right. So that's why they didn't come. So next time you're going to have better snacks. You're going to promote it better. Okay. You're going to have some live music versus the right. So you're going to do things a little bit different. Do you just close up and say, nobody wants my party? No, you're going to do better and learn from it and move on.
And that makes sense. Now, you said you put out a lot of stuff before. Do you do the build it in the air type approach where you just say, I'm gonna just put it out here and basically we're gonna build the course as people register? Or do you say, well, we gotta finish everything in the course, then put it out and then get the response?
Great question. So the one approach that you're talking about is the beta approach, right? So I'm gonna put out a lesson and then I'm gonna see how people respond to it, and then I'll put out the next one, and then I'll put out the next one. Well, it'll give you some data, but here's what it won't do. That approach will not give you the real experience of someone actually going through your course. It's a beta experience. It's not the real experience. So the real experience is that they're going to get it all at some point, and then then they're going to have choices. They're going to be able to go to this module, then this module. If you set it up that way, they're going to be able to pick and choose and download things and whatever. And so that's the real kind of experience. So you can do a beta, but there's a way to do it so that you can get the best data possible. So the problem, Jeff, is that a lot of people just don't do it right. Now, then people say, well, what about if I do the whole course and then nobody buys it? Well, doing the whole course had nothing to do with why they didn't buy it. That's not why they didn't buy it. Okay, they didn't buy it because you didn't market it properly. Okay, so you didn't do what you needed to do to get them into the course. So don't be mad because you did a whole course. You know what I mean? Like, don't be mad after the fact. Be mad before the fact because you didn't plan it out properly. Okay, so that's why. And so if you're worried about wasting time, don't worry about wasting time, so to speak. Worry about, okay, am I setting this course up for the best level of success?
Okay, so you're really looking at the results in mind versus just, oh, I'm just going to get it out. I told myself I'm going to get it out on this date. I'm going to get it out, by any means necessary by that date. I'm going to just put out some stuff and go from there. So
you get what you get, then you get what you get, then you get what you get. I mean, if that's the way that you have to be motivated, that's fine, right? If you just say, hey, you know what, I'm just going to do it, because if I don't do it, it's just not going to get done. Okay, what I would rather you do is give yourself a break. Give yourself the room to put it out correctly. Okay? Because there's also danger in just putting anything out there. Because then people say, ooh, that course was just okay, because people are very critical and they know what's good and what's not. So if you want to just throw something out there to say you did it, go for it. But then you get what you get. Okay? So remember, it is a competitive marketplace now. People are selling everything from Bibles to baked goods, okay? So you have got to come correct in this marketplace now. Out here in these streets, people are not going for the okie doke. They will ask for a refund on a $17 course, okay? If it is crap.
That's true.
So you your competitors are not coming wickety whack and homemade. They're not coming homemade. They're not.
You're right.
They are coming correct.
And it's so funny. It seems like
outros.
It's funny. It seems like the lower price point your course is, the quicker they'll be. I want a refund.
The quicker.
You be like, dude, it was $3. I mean, really? Yeah, I want my $3 back.
I want my $3 plus interest.
For wasting my time.
For wasting my time.
It's so funny. It's so true.
For wasting my time. Yes, and yes. And that, I mean, that is the reality out here. And that's not to scare anybody. That's not for you to be like, oh, I shouldn't get out there. No, that competitive curiosity, communication, right? And community, like you just said, Jeff. I mean, get out there and just say, you know what? I may not do it all right. Like I may not know what the end is going to be, but I know if I put one foot in front of the other and start working and get a support system going, then I can do better than I would do if I was just sitting on my couch, wishing, hoping, and praying that that somehow automagically it's just going to happen. Then work like that.
That's true. That's true, especially for those that are overthinkers too. So, you know, that's another thing I noticed when it comes to building courses that can trip people up. They have courses that they've had on the shelf for years and they've modified several million times, but never put it out because they overthink it. It's just never, what do they call it? Procrastination by perfection or something like that, or perfectionist procrastination or something like that. Yeah, it's like
a medical condition.
Yeah, they never put it out. Yeah, they just like, I'm gonna fix it. I'm about to re-release it, or I'm about to release it next year after I do this. And you're like, wow.
Well,
you're never gonna put it out.
From not having the confidence in knowing that it's going to be successful. That's the thing, right? Like we all want, I always say, you know, everybody wants to know if the water is warm before they put their toe in it. Everybody wants to know, you know, how's the water? You know, it's good to me, you know, but I don't know what it's, you know, but you know, everybody wants to know before they do it. And that's just not how it works, right? You got to get in there. You got to feel it for yourself. You got to get used to that water. And then you'll be able, next thing you know, you're doing the backstroke. Okay. So, you know, it's just a matter of just, you know, the overthinking is really just it's another delay tactic. It's another thing that will hold you back from, then it's going to be a month, then a month turns into several months, and several months turns into a year or 2 years. And next thing you know, everybody else is quitting their jobs, they're buying their dream homes, they're traveling the world, they're doing all this stuff, and you're still sitting there, you know, trying to dust off a dusty course from 2 years ago.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, when it comes to building a better course, like they say, they're building a better mousetrap, that dates us, but building a better course, how can they get in contact with you in order to help them become more clear, organized, and confident when it comes to building their course?
Okay, so not only are we going to help you become more clear in your content, we're also going to automate and do all of the technology behind the scenes, and we're going to set up the marketing machinery so that you can actually sell that thing. Okay, and that's something that you need some help with. You can definitely go over to katthecoursebuilder.com. That's Kat with a K, all spelled out just like it sounds. Katthecoursebuilder.com, and apply to work with us. We only work with about 30% of the literally hundreds of requests that we get to help. We don't work with everybody, but if you think that you're ready to you know, get in the driver's seat and buckle up, then we're ready to help.
That's great. So yeah, everybody, if you're ready to go ahead and get in there and make your video, or you stacking the money on the table about your digital product, now I'm gonna stop hating. I'm gonna stop hating. But if you're ready to go ahead,
stacking your rent money, quit it.
You see those videos where they in the car and they got the money on their arm, like,
I can't take it. I can't do it. I can't. Go on to the post office and get that money order. Quit playing.
Exactly. That's so funny. But if you're ready to go ahead and build your course the right way, reach out to Kat and just go ahead and do it with a way that is not just hype. You know, somebody that actually has known how to do it, taken education on how to do it, been in the trenches, tested how to do it, did it, can prove she's done it, and show you how to do it, more importantly. So, you know, if that's the case,
we do it for you. You know, we're a done for you agency, Jeff. So we actually do it for you. You ain't even got to try to learn it from us.
And that's even better. That's even better. Hey, instead of trying to figure out the recipe, you just have the chef there. Be like, hey, I
Hey.
just want this.
Come out with a double layer cake, frosting and everything.
Exactly. That's probably what I need. Instead of trying to mess up in the kitchen myself. So,
All
so
good.
cool.
All good.
Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks everybody for listening. And this has been another marketing strategy session. Best of success to you and your business.